Hello there everybody, a very good morning to you all and welcome back to another Taurex live daily trading session on this Wednesday morning. I hope everyone has had a good trading week so far and is ready for some more opportunities. We're going to be having a look. I'm in two live trades, which is very unlike me. For those who know me, it's very unlike me. I normally only trade once at a time, but we're in twice. So two different markets though. I'm not overexposed to two different things, so it's all good. And I want to talk through those trades with you today. There was also some news overnight. The Rbnz have released their next interest rate decision, so we'll be having a quick look at the decision and what that means. And also we have FOMC meeting minutes out later, so the markets are warmed up. We're ready to go. Hopefully we're going to get some good moves over the next sort of 48 hours or so as we hit the real sort of meat of the week, really. Bobby, hello to you. Good to see you. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope you're doing well. Kirkton, good to see you as always. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're doing well, and let me know how your week's gone. From a trading point of view, has it been good? Let me know in the comment section. Or if there's any other questions or anything that anyone wants me to go through on the streams, then feel free to let me know. Normally, I just I talk and I answer questions at the end, but I do like to go through and basically just show you my own trading journey. It actually, from a selfish point of view, it helps me as well. I am doing it to show you how to analyze markets and trade markets, but it helps me talk through the way that I'm trading as well. So hopefully that is beneficial to you. But if there's anything else anyone wants me to cover, feel free to let me know. So I'm going to be honest, right? I normally do like when I set up the live stream, I normally do like set up the screens that I'm going to be using. I haven't done that, so please bear with me because I'm about to turn into a blank screen because I haven't set it up. I have no idea why. I just completely forgot to do it. So just give me 2 seconds whilst I actually set up the right thing here. Where are we? Explained. Yeah, there we go. Look, finally. I need to set up the trading journal one as well. I'm hoping that's already done. Is it done? Yeah, there we go. We're cooking. We're cooking. It's all good. So, having a look at some of the news that come out, I want to talk first of all about the more immediate news, and that was the Rbnz. They decided to cut rates by 50 basis points, which is something that we expected, to be honest, something that we spoke about in a bit of detail at the beginning of the week. But the reaction that we saw from the New Zealand dollar probably wasn't one that I was necessarily expecting, and that's because we saw actually an initial surge in the New Zealand dollar. I don't know where it's at now because I haven't checked in the last sort of hour or so. But New Zealand dollar, let's have a look. Yeah, look, you can see the New Zealand dollar actually gained despite a 50 basis point rate cut, and this is why, when it comes to fundamental analysis, it's all well and it's great to learn the theory, right? What happens when a central bank rate cuts? That means weaker currency, yeah? But the stuff that I try and teach is to go a bit deeper than that. And that's why when I released my our Taurex 2025 Academy, I'm going to be having sort of a group of people who can access me from a fundamental point of view, which isn't just the surface level stuff, so we can actually go deeper into it. Because the reason we're seeing the New Zealand dollar gain despite a 50 basis point rate cut is because of the forward guidance and the language that's used after the cut. So this is why people get trapped in. They think they know fundamentals. They go, right, we're going to see a 50 basis point rate cut. That means we're going to see a weak New Zealand dollar. Not necessarily, because the language that was used after the decision was this: further moves would be smaller in size and the end of the easing cycle was now not too distant. So basically, we've already priced it all in. We've already priced in the 50 basis point rate cut. We've priced in the dovishness from the Rbnz, and now we're near the end of the cycle, right? Whereas other central banks aren't. And that's the really important thing. We need to dive into some of the language that's used. Bobby, yes, we can check WTI, no problem. So we don't need to go any unless anyone wants me to go further into that. Just to let you know that what happened in the RBNZ was a 50 basis point rate cut, but the reason the currency surged or ticked higher, should we say, is because of the fact that the language that was used after was almost like, well, we're near the end of the cycle now. And that's actually more of a hawkish shift, right, than a dovish one. So that's probably why. Okay, right. Okay, Bobby, let's tell you what. So we've had a request. Let's just go through oil. Let's go through oil now. Right, so you can see my chart. I'm going to get rid of, let me just get rid of everything because it's a mess. Okay, right, let's look at the chart from a basic point of view. So, we mentioned on oil a few days ago that we needed to see a break below. If we're going to be bearish on oil, we needed to see a break below this 70 level. Now you can see that we reacted from about 70.16. I was quite unlucky really because I was actually looking for trade ideas off of the reaction from 70 and the 50% of this demand zone. But actually what we saw was we got very close to it and the buyers stepped in straight away. So for me, that's now the reaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete that demand zone because we've already reacted from it. So if we can now come down, I think that we can say that this 70 level, Bobby, is probably the floor of the market. And then if we, where are my indicators? Not the ADX, I want the RSI. If you look at the RSI, this is on the hourly time frame. Same sort of thing on the 4-hour time frame. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? It's probably not the same one. So if we look at the 4-hour first, if we zoom in on that low, look what happened. Okay, so it's probably from this low, to be fair. Here to here. Bullish divergence. No, yes, no, Bobby, I'll have a look at that as well. Bullish divergence, you see that? Really, really clean. Then, from the bullish divergence, we've had a breakout. And if you drop down on the 1-hour time frame, you can see how the flow, should we say, has turned more bullish. Boom, boom, and then there's our next extension. Break of this high, break of this high as well. Break of these equal highs. BOS, call that a break of structure. So now, Bobby, I would say that I'm bullish on oil. How can we get in? You probably ask. Well, that's a slightly different question. So I'm just trying to see if I can find any decent sets. So now what we're doing is we're trying to find support, right? We've had the breakout. Now we're trying to find support. Where is that support? Let's have a look. Excuse me whilst I just quickly dive into this just to see if I can find a good support area. Yeah, this is the one. 15-minute time frame. Okay. You can see the reaction. All of this price is balanced price, right? There's no FVGs, there's no real order blocks there, there's nothing there. However, when we look up here, what do we have? Equal lows, which is liquidity. Not only that, below that liquidity we have fair value gap, FEG, and would you? It's probably not. No. I would say the fair value gap. So, Bobby, what I like to see, and this is down at 71.61. Now we've had the breakout higher. What I would like to see is a move down to take out this liquidity into this fair value gap, and then look to trade it higher. That's how I would trade it. Okay. I mean, I don't personally trade on the 15-minute time frame. But for you, if you've got a bit more time to be on the charts, unlike me, because I'm a little bit busy with the job, etc. So I can't be looking at 15-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute time frames too much. But if I was trading on that time frame, on a lower time frame like that, that's a really nice potential piece of analysis, piece of bullish analysis there. Okay. Now the pound versus the pound versus, what's happened? What's happened there? Been a big spike. Is that for the pound? Oh yes, of course, because it's UK CPI, 3%. 3% inflation in the UK. Sorry, I'm a bit sidetracked here. This actually goes into the it actually goes into the pound Japanese yen trade or analysis, should we say? Wow, 3%. Forecast 2.8. Previous UK inflation's increased by 0.5% from the previous reading. I imagine that's pretty bullish for the pound, surely. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it looks that way against the dollar. It's not even done too much. It's actually reversed a little bit. Okay, right. Pound versus Japanese yen then. With that in mind, the RPI fell. PPR was slightly higher. Overall, it's quite a bullish reading for the pound. So we're sort of in no man's land here, Bobby. Nothing on the 1 hour. Look, I'll be honest. It's not a very clean chart. Oil was a lot cleaner, Bobby. If you're going to look at any of those markets, I would look at oil rather than the pound versus the Japanese yen. Sometimes the way that I can tell, I know you know the trend rider, is that when I look at these moving averages and you see this, you see it sort of overlapping, keep going over, and just like that, it's telling us that we're in a period of potential consolidation. Now, I would say that we had a nice breakout here, but we haven't really had. We actually have had a bit of a breakout here, and we've had a bullish crossover. So if I had to guess, like a guesstimate, I would say that I'm turning bullish, but I wouldn't say I'm bullish. What I'd like to see, Bobby, is I'd like to see this, the breakout candle, the breakout move. Then we can get in. Okay, so always wait for the breakout move first in either direction. So I'm turning bullish on it, but I wouldn't say I'm necessarily wholly convinced just yet. Okay, right. So I am currently live on 2 trades. Yes, Laura. Welcome to the stream. So we spoke about the Kiwi early on at the beginning of the stream. So I can summarize it for you. Essentially, what we saw was a 50 basis point rate cut from the Rbnz, which theoretically is bearish for the New Zealand dollar, right? However, the language that was used in the press conference that came after was basically that we're now going to be switching to smaller cuts, if any, and more importantly, they said we are nearing the end of the cycle. So basically telling us that we're near the end of the cutting. That's bullish, really, when you think we've already priced all of that dovishness in now. If we're nearing the end of it, well, the next stage is holding rates. Maybe we can then see a move higher in the New Zealand dollar now. I wouldn't say it's confirmed, because overall it's still quite a dovish bank right now. But the fact that they said that we're nearing the end of it, that's why we're seeing the New Zealand dollar act strong despite a 50 basis point rate cut. Okay, so just quickly, the 2 trades that I've got live. The first one is the S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500 and the stock market in general is one of those markets where you feel really like, because you're buying at all-time highs almost, and you're like, it just doesn't feel right. But for me, what we saw was quite a clear and considerable breakout, right, on the S&P 500. My moving averages were also telling me bullish, and we had an expansion in those moving averages, which is telling me that the strength of the trend was there. So I basically entered off of a retest. Was actually in a bit of drawdown. The reason that I always put my stop loss 10 pips below this orange line roughly is so I don't get I don't want to say stop hunted, because I don't know if that's actually a real thing, but I don't want to get like wicked into. So I always give myself a little bit of breathing room at the end. Okay. Now, as you can see, we came and tested this actual EMA 36, and now we're trading higher. So I'm in profit on this trade. So it's a 2% trade. So I'm trading about 1% up because we're at 0.5 to 1. Okay. So yeah, I mean, all-time highs in the S&P 500, despite all of the uncertainty, Trump tariffs and all that, the S&P 500, the Wall Street, the stock market plows on. And so I think, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? We're at all-time highs. The markets clearly aren't worried too much about this uncertainty that we have in geopolitical tensions and the Trump tariffs. So it's very much an earnings story. Fundamentally, we're bullish, is what I'm trying to say. It's not really, doesn't really take a genius to figure that one out. And I like the look of the little pullback we had yesterday, and I don't really like the position of the trade. However, I'm trying to catch in on that sort of grinding momentum to the upside. So that's the first trade I'm in. And then the dollar CAD trade is this one. Similar sort of thing. I am still bullish on the US dollar this year, which is why I'm watching this trade very carefully. Because the US dollar has made a breakout to the downside. And I think we've maybe got a month left of downside in the US dollar. It's hard to put a time frame on it, of course, but overall we're seeing a more hawkish Federal Reserve. And I do believe that they will remain that way this year. So my overall view for 2025 is that I think we're bullish on the dollar. However, that doesn't come without any pullbacks. And the Canada inflation came in strong last week. We had quite a significant sort of like pump and dump scenario here. And I'm really just trying to catch on some of the momentum from this breakout. So a little bit of a retest. And sometimes what you can tell is that, the pullback, it wasn't very convincing, right? You can see the lack of momentum that the bulls had in this dollar CAD market compared to what we've seen to the downside. So really, I'm treating this as a bit of a pause, retest of our EMA 12. I'm looking to trade it higher. Currently sitting around the entry level right now. No worries, Laura. I hope that helped. So those two trades are both, one's pretty much at entry, and the other one is the S&P 500. I'm currently running 1% in profit. I'm not at the one-to-one stage yet, so I won't be changing the trade. I'll be keeping it as it is, and that's about it really. You'll probably be wondering why I haven't spoken about the FOMC meeting minutes later. That's because I can't stand the FOMC meeting minutes. It's not something that I necessarily put too much attention to. The reason is because the fact is that it's just it's literally just a set of notes from the previous meeting. I don't know what new information we're going to find out. I always find it a little bit of a dead rubber, really. So I will have a look at some of the, if there's anything new that comes out. To be honest, my concern here is that it's going to come out and it's going to look fairly hawkish, and that's going to give a little bit of a relief boost to the dollar. So I don't know if today is a good day for dollar downside, but I still think for the rest of this week into tomorrow and Friday. But if there's any other language in there that suggests that we may be seeing interest rate cuts, then we could be seeing a move lower in the dollar. So it will have an impact in the markets. How long-lived that is depends if we hear any new information. We never normally do, but if we do, I'll let you know. But other than that, it's an event which just causes choppy price action with not really much clear direction. So that's my opinion. Okay, good stuff. Right. Just check there was no more questions that came through. I think we're all good. So to summarise, Rbnz cut 50. Stronger Kiwi because of what we spoke about. I still like dollar CAD I still like dollar downside in the short term. I'm long on the stock market. So we'll see how that goes. And we've got the FOMC meeting minutes later. So there's plenty to get stuck into, and there's plenty of action. And I like that oil upside as well, because I like the breakout we saw there. Any other markets that anyone wants me to cover or ask me any questions, I'll be around in the Discord channel if you do need me. Until then, everybody, trade well, trade the session well, and trade safe as always. Be patient, let the markets come to you as always. And I'll see you all tomorrow for another update. Any new news from the FOMC meeting minutes, we'll break that down tomorrow as well. And again, if you need me, I'll be in the Discord channel. Thank you very much. Take care, trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you soon.